You have $1 million idea in your mind right now and it's trapped and you're not doing anything about it. In an age of AI where anything is literally possible, you can literally just create with ideas. There is no excuse you should be giving yourself to put out into the world something that can solve your problem, generate some sort of wealth, do something for society that actually brings you some sort of fulfillment. The real bottleneck here is not that we have a lack of ideas. Some original, some not. For the most part, mostly not. But the real bottleneck here is your ability to translate your ideas into something tangible that actually solves some sort of problem or gives some sort of result for someone willing to pay, or maybe even just solve your own problem. Either or. And you haven't already guessed it, the point of this video is to break down any limitations that you have on your mind where your AI, any tool that you're using, can translate your ideas into code. Because AI is probably one of the greatest compilers, which can basically turn one thing into something else. The barrier to entry to code, to becoming technical, getting into tech, was extremely high because you have to understand different languages, code, logic, maybe sometimes in unique cases math sequences or formulas or some sort of scientific stuff that only some sort of PhD person can understand. But now none of that even matters anymore. You don't even need to take any of these courses. How do I know this? Because I've done it myself. All you have to understand is that if you understand how to speak a language, English in this case, or Polish, it doesn't matter what language you're speaking, and if you can inform an AI exactly what it is that you want, you can have your idea out there put into the world and then you can get paid for it. The real problem here is your inability to actually express the communication, the ideas clearly and in a detailed format so that AI understands exactly what it is that you want. AI has reduced the cost of coding to zero. There is no more barrier to entry for coding or programming. You do not need a developer, you do not need an agency, you don't need a technical co-founder anymore. If you have an AI, especially one of the powerful models nowadays that are amazing at coding, you can put your idea out there and you can start in bringing some sort of business. The primary key thing to understand here with AI is that you have to now transition from being a specialized person with a specific skill and more so of a systems architect. And that's kind of what I like to think of myself as. Someone who can easily architect a system, direct it, give it control, give it access to different platforms, tools, whatever it needs to do work. I activate the AI, and from there it goes out and codes, programs exactly the things that I have in my mind. It translates exactly what I have. The misconception here is that everyone's hoarding ideas and they're not doing anything about it. For the most part, whenever I hear people, oh, let's get an NDA in place, or oh, hey, I have this awesome idea, I don't know if I should share with you, but if between you and me, I'll share it. Like, I already know for the most part that idea is not going to work out, and honestly, I really don't care. Because really, if you understand, say, startups or ideas, whatever, you know that you have to throw sometimes 10, 20, 100 shots just before one even works. And if that one even does work, it may not even be as successful as you wished it to be. It might just be something below par. There's been a few vehicles I got into because of not doing proper research into the markets and things of that nature, where I got into the vehicle and I was just limited by a slow and growing or declining market. So there are many variables that go into place to actually have a working and functioning idea. But you shouldn't be hoarding your ideas anymore. You should be getting things out into the marketplace, seeing whether or not it can actually generate revenue and actually get some sort of interest. So now the litmus test is how fast can you get the idea out there? There's times where I literally just produce an idea in an hour or so, maybe a couple minutes sometimes, depending on how big or small the tool is, but maybe like max, say 2-3 days where I have a working, functioning product with a core feature that I already have, sometimes even the same day. And the real key here is to see how fast can you get the functionality of what you're looking for out there into the world. And then the real problem becomes not can you produce a product anymore, because now we're literally just producing ideas with our minds. All we need is AI. You don't even need to understand all the inner mechanics and workings underneath inside the code. Like, sure, it's good to understand it, especially because you become more advanced. You can pick up like different understandings, details, how it all works. So you can kind of understand like how this is all running. But for the most part, you don't really need to know and understand all of it. And the real unfair advantage in the current day of AI is your ability to distribute the product. It's marketing. Because for the longest time, people in tech have been saying, oh, hey, you need to be a builder and a seller, and then you'll be golden. That's like this famous adage that everyone says. And that's why sometimes a technical person will partner up with a person who can sell or market, because now their product can get out into the hands of millions of people. So the real distribution edge or the real advantage isn't anymore whether or not you can build. It's more so, can I get this into the hands of millions, billions of people, or maybe a select few people who can pay me a massive amount of money for my product? Now, when it actually comes to building, what you're actually doing is you're piecing together different products. So for instance, what I like to do is I like to use Claude Code. I like to use, say, Anti-Gravity, Cursor AI. And then when I'm actually building inside of these tools, I'm opening up multiple instances of Claude Code, Codex, Gemini. I have these on the side, and mainly I'm just chatting with my AI. I have some sort of development server running. It's up and running. I can see in real time what's actually being changed, what's not. And what I'm actually doing here is building and narrating everything I want. I usually use some sort of like voice AI, like Super Whisper, Whisper Flow. Sometimes these platforms, they also provide like a voice diction tool where you can activate the voice and it'll just transcribe exactly what your speech is into text. And then from there, I'm just narrating the ideas in my mind. I'm speaking literally to my computer. And then anytime I'm working with the AI or whatever, what I'm doing is I'm just narrating. Maybe I'm going to a competitor website. I'm saving the whole entire page as a PDF so I can just reference it, inject it into the AI, and then it can literally just zero shot a prompt that I just gave it and copy exactly the whole entire landing page of, say, Airbnb, or maybe say some other product that I'm looking to mimic and copy. It's incredible. And really the foundational skill that is gonna be an edge in this age of AI is more so your ability to be a synthesizer. And what I mean by that is your ability to go out there and find the right integrators, the tools, the APIs, the MCP servers, whatever capabilities that your AI needs to connect, and then from there do something about it. This is why I always recommend, say, working inside of a IDE, so like a coding IDE. From there, pulling up Claude Code or Anti-Gravity, and then from there putting all your environment variables, so access to Vercel, access to any API keys, access to any platform, all the keys you need there. You're simultaneously building the skills for your AI to easily reference, say, any analytics platforms or whatever it is that your AI needs, and then from there it builds. Because when you have this sort of master directory and then you can build everything from there, your AI easily can just fetch it. It has the skill, it has the understanding of, hey, I did this before, I know what to do, I know the theme that you're looking for. And when your job really just becomes to you connecting and empowering the AI so it can use this tool, use this integration, it'll build out the full entire product. Like my AI, for instance, it has access to the Firebase CLI. It has access to, say, Supabase. It has access to any backend database or infrastructure I need to enable the AI to create my product, whether it's for the authentication layer to get users to sign up and create their accounts, whether it's for some sort of security layer, whether it's for some sort of cloud function, edge function, whether it's for some sort of API usage or connecting various different language models into my products or any ideas that I'm creating. It has access to literally everything. And because it has access to everything, it can literally just go out there and spin up a product that I need. And whenever it actually comes to building anything, the best and simplest way to build anything that's actually going to excite you, motivate you, is when you're actually going out there and building products that have some actual real use case or purpose in your life. Like if you're going to go out there and build some sort of cooking app, how motivated are you going to be to create that unless you actually are into cooking? Probably not. Like for instance, if you have some sort of problem with email deliverability and you go out there and create a tool that solves that, you're going to be so much more motivated to actually do something about it, to solve your own problem, maybe solve it for yourself and then solve it for someone else, productize the idea and then try to distribute it and sell it. You're going to be way more motivated to take a lot of attention and care into the design of the product, how it works, does it actually work, the user onboarding. You're going to pay attention to all the minor little details that go into creating a product. You'll be super motivated. So if you have a business idea or if you have a business and there's a clear problem there, then what you're really doing here is you're literally just creating a product for yourself or creating something that you would actually use and excite you. And then when you actually create it, you're going to pay attention and be so much more motivated to create. Like you'll just get lost in flow and hours of creating the product because it just makes sense. Like it'll actually provide value to my life, or it will solve some sort of problem, or maybe I'm doing something in a class or some job I have. And then if I create this tool, it's going to make my life so much easier, or it's going to provide value to my team. Like you see, you can give yourself a clear motivation and a clear purpose to create the product. And then when you create the product, then you have an amazing product that actually solves your problem. You saw it through end to end. You didn't say just like desert the project because say you lost motivation, momentum, it just didn't make sense. You lost your sense of why when creating the product. And in this case, you had a strong reason. That's what I always tell people to do. Like, hey, if you actually are going to be using AI to create something and you want to get really good at the skill, this is probably one of the best ways, by the way, how to learn any skill, by the way. It's when you actually toss yourself into the fire, the furnace, and then from there you're forced to create some sort of product or solution by being very hands-on. Especially if you're a very hands-on person and you like to see how it all feels. Like, this is me, you know what I mean? I like to touch everything. I like to get a hand on it. I want to understand what's going on, like how this actually works. And then from there, you're just learning at an incredible rate, because once you learn it and you're actually doing it, and then let's say like now, like for instance, I'm trying to explain it to you on the camera, or I'm trying to explain it to a friend how I did it. Then from everything I've done, I'm crystallizing my thinking, the logic, like the experience. I'm trying to make sense of it, because then I'm connecting different synapses, connections in my brain, which is strengthening the neural pathways. I know this is getting into like neuroscience, but like I'm strengthening the synapses and the connections in my brain to better help me understand what I just did. And then when I do this enough times, with more repetitions, with more volume, and more deeper understanding of how this all works, your brain literally rewires and creates a new understanding of this skill, of like this whole entire idea behind vibe coding and AI coding and how this all makes sense. So really, the initial fear is just you not understanding code, and that's totally fine. You don't need to understand the code anymore. It's good long term to understand what is happening under the hood, like as you get better. I don't assume or expect you're going to understand everything right off the bat, because it's definitely very overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff that can sometimes just like creep in, but now it's become so easy to a point where you literally just need AI to translate your ideas into thoughts. There's tools out there like Claude, like Base 44, say like Gemini's, like Google's anti-gravity, Cursor AI. For the most part, I don't recommend or refer any products that say lock you into the product. Like I think Base 44 does that. And there are other tools out there where say like if you use a platform, your code base is kind of like locked in and you can't even export it. That's very problematic, especially if you're trying to grow it and make this a full-fledged product that you want full control over the entire code base. So just be aware of products and any solutions out there that exist that allow you to do easy vibe coding like that. If you cannot export the code, that's a huge problem. So I don't recommend any platforms like that. But nonetheless, if you want to just kind of get your hands on the product because it's quick, easy, and then make it super user-friendly, that's fine. But like long-term, I would not recommend that. Use tools where you have ownership and access to your own code bases. So the main thing I want to leave everyone off here is that you don't need to be technical. The barrier to entry has been eliminated. All you really need to know is how to communicate properly your ideas to an AI tool that can actually translate your idea into a software platform, automation, some other digital solution, because now we're literally just creating with our minds. It's incredible. And the other thing that I want to leave you off with is, and now the real unfair advantage is your ability to market, to sell, to copyright, to give people a wonderful aha experience where they share your product. So it's really about how you're getting your product out there into the world. With these two things in mind, I'm sure you'll get so far ahead of so many people, because now there is no barrier to entry or there's something unique to being a developer anymore, because now that's eradicated. Don't be a specializer. Be someone who can connect different tools and systems together to provide massive value for the world. That's all I want to leave you off with. So if you have a massive idea, then go out there, execute it. The barrier to entry is literally eliminated. If you want to say hi, send me an email. I also do offer help when it comes to, say, building out your own things or even offering trainings. I do also offer that. I do also offer help to businesses where, say, you want to get some custom solution or some sort of implementation in place. So you could just reach out to me via email and I can share exactly how it is I could potentially help you. But other than that, I'll see you in another one. See ya.